to give the Lions any credit at all. You know what I'm saying? Mike Florio, I believe he hate Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't
We
never,
know he a Viking fan anyway, though.
dude. He was just like basically like, you know, everything that Minnesota. It was like the Lions won because Minnesota didn't do X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Basically, that's how it went. You know what I'm saying? And you wouldn't think that the national and trust me, we sensitive to it. You know what I'm saying? Because we hear to we hear every day. You know what I'm saying? It's our team, so we see what's going on behind the scene. Me and you. As far as draft and prospects and knowing what's going on with this team, man. The national media don't know. You know what I'm saying? They don't know. They don't know the backstory behind some of these guys. You know what I'm saying? They don't realize um the the journey, man, like to some of these guys, like Amik Robertson. I didn't realize that him and Justin Jefferson very well acquainted with each other. You know what I'm saying? They know each other. What's up, fellas, tonight? Yeah, man. Good win, victory Monday. Glad to see it, man. It was one of I mean, then with this team is this Lions team is constantly showed that they making history, man. It's like last year to 2 years ago to last year to this year. It's like they've had so many signature moments that we've erased all the bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? Remember, like Lions, like every time, like Dan Orlovsky, I use him for an example. You see him on ESPN, and every time you see him, what is he known for? He's known for uh going on running out of bounds backwards. You know what I'm saying? With his feet, hitting on the inbounds line, on the out of bounds line, and the commentators laughing at him, making fun of him. You know what I'm saying? Marty Morningwig taking the win in Chicago. Shannon Sterling Sharp by himself against the Packers. They beating the Lions in Silverdome. You know what I'm saying? It just like one thing after another, bad. But now I think Dan Campbell, this guy that's up here right now, man, is totally erased all the bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now it's good things that we remember about this team, man. You know what I'm saying? Huge win last night. I didn't think that. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, we had the Lions win. I had them winning by 3. I think it was 29-26. I that was my pick. I didn't think they could pull that off, Walt, the way they did last night, man. That was impressive. I mean, say call what you want. Blame the blitzes, the blitzes. Blame the blitzes. Excuse me. Um, and and just give these guys a tip of the cap, man. I mean, because Aaron Glenn even said Dan Campbell kind of green lighted his whole game plan. He was basically like, "Listen, Dan Campbell, give me green light. He behind me, and we living and dying with what we gonna do tonight." You know what I'm saying? And them boys was inspired, man. Them boy from Zadarius Smith to Aquaneem Muhammad to Meek Robertson to Kirby Joseph. I just want to point out, I think Kirby Joseph made one of the biggest plays. While correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, correct me if I'm wrong. When he ran, remember that big run by Cam Akers? I think he ran it maybe 58 yards down the sideline. Well, I think that was one of the biggest plays of the game. Him stopping him and not letting him score. I think that was huge, man, because we had them boys pent up and they shorten the field, shorten their play calling, and I think they was stuck. You know what I'm saying? Because they live on the explosive plays, right? They live
Yep.
on the Jordan Addison didn't catch a pass, bro, and that's the one in my that's my guy. He's a perfect compliment to Justin Jefferson, and he didn't even catch a pass. Wasn't he? He was a non-factor, man. Justin Jefferson damn near was a non-factor. I mean, I was shocked that they played so well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Corey, I agree. I think that play. Well, I just think it's little small things like that. I thought the Amik Robertson, batting that ball down in the end zone too. You remember the fourth down, and they flushed him out of the pocket. They flushed Donald to the right, and it was kind of like maybe an uncatchable ball, but it was still Meek Robertson was there, bro. And those two plays, I think, kind of changed the game, man. To me, um, I'll let you take it away, Walt. But that was the one play right there. I'm glad you put that up, man. You sweet with the graphics, but yeah, if that was the one play he was beat. Meek Robertson was
Yeah,
beat, but then Sam Darnold, it was a horrible pass. I mean, it was a horrible, but it was just like too
I
strong.
think
You know what
I
I'm saying?
think they did a damn good job, and I'm pretty sure this was the major part of the defensive game plan throughout the week. We outmatched talent wise, man for
Mm,
man, cornerback to wide receiver when it comes to playing against Minnesota. So,
yeah.
what do you do against a team that is offensively predicated off throwing the ball and timing? You got to throw all that shit off. And how do you throw off the timing? Not only with just rushing the quarterback, because mostly people think, okay, if we're going to throw off the timing of the quarterback, that means we got to rush, 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 blitz, blitz, blitz. No, you jam. People got to understand too, playing man press is a real good way, along with being able to get some type of pressure within that front seven, are the keys, or two of the easier keys than just expecting to get guys playing off the edge, getting you 10 hurries a game, which is kind of crazy to really expect from a lot of these not corners, but a lot of these D tackles and these DNs out here. But I think of Meek, man, and nobody's saying talent wise, player for player, he's equal to Justin Jefferson, or maybe not even in the same stratosphere as Jefferson. We're not saying he's better at his position than Jefferson is at his, because I don't believe that either. But I do believe there's a lot to go with it with two guys who've been competing against each other since high school. They know a lot about each other. I'm pretty sure Justin mentioned it prior to the game. He's gotten the best of a Meek plenty of times, and the Meek got the best of him. It's 1-on-1. And he just got the best of him last night. I think that's really what it was, man. If you look at the game he played, you listen to him talk after the interview, on the field after the game, this means a lot to him. And I think he's another guy that's the epitome of a guy that was kind of cast away with the team he was recently at. Um, Even though I'm not going to say the Raiders really casted him away, they wanted him back. They weren't going to pay him what he was able to ultimately get on the open market. But he's another guy that felt like I should have been starting somewhere. I can play on the outside. I haven't played on the outside since college. I'm not getting the opportunity to do this. I'm not getting the opportunity to do that. And once he finally got the opportunity, I thought he was kind of riding the wave last night too, because playing at Ford Field is something different, and it became magical. Something was in that building last night that got those guys together, and they went out there and they handled business against the Minnesota Vikings. And you and I was talking a little bit about this during the pre-show. Once again, talent-wise, are they the Vikings? No. At the skill positions, no. But they were able to disrupt all night. They got tons of pressure all night. They did a great job of dome in the pocket for the most part, forcing Darnold to step up. And whenever Darnold stepped up, he was stepping up in the front of tackles all night. They would force him to throw over guys all night. They had a game plan to disrupt everything. And if we don't have a Myles Garrett or a Max Crosby or a Aiden Hutchinson or a TJ Watt or whoever you want to name, you want to insert, we got 11 guys that are going to play football on a string, and we're going to disrupt things all night. And I think that was pretty much what they did a great job of. Now, what I will say is this, and like I said, you and I prior to the video, we kind of touched on this. My thoughts about the Minnesota Vikings, man, and you know this firsthand. Historically, like we compete against the Bears, we competed against the Packers, we competed against the Vikings every year. The Vikings have always been a very physical, tough team. It didn't feel that way last night. And Chris Long brought this up on his podcast earlier in the season. Teams, you think you're physical and you think you're tough and you think you love to hit until you play Detroit, who absolutely love to do all three of those things. And they've been doing them constantly since what, June? Even when they're not supposed to, they go ahead and pay the fines. You pay the fines to make sure you're here at 15-2 at the end of 18 weeks.
Yeah.
But I think the Vikings, man, as great as Jordan Addison is, as
Yeah.
great as Justin Jefferson is, as great as Jalen Naylor is, all three of those dudes are the same wide receiver, bro. All three of them are like between 5'11" and 6'1". All
Yeah.
three of them are like 190 pounds or under because I don't believe Jefferson's over 190. I don't care what the Minnesota website, the Vikings website says. That dude is not 190.
Yeah.
Addison for damn sure is not 190. I don't
Nah.
even think Naylor's 190. And they may be tough football players because you still have to be tough to be a quality football player in the NFL at their size. But
Hmm.
them dudes get roughed up a lot.
Yeah.
It is obvious that maybe it may sound crazy to people when you look at what they have and say, well, they need another wide receiver. I think they need not necessarily a Tim Patrick receiver, but they need somebody bigger who is a little bit more physical, who forces defenses to cover different.
Yeah.
Looking at that game last night, and I'm not trying to start no mess, but the first thing I thought about, and I know how, and this is why I like him. Another reason why I like him better than Justin Jefferson, they wouldn't have been able to do that to Jamar Chase. Like Chase is bigger, Chase is stronger. Chase would have fought things off. I said the same thing about Neighbors, even though Neighbors is a rookie. Like these are tougher, stronger, more physical wide receivers. It's tough to jam those types of dudes. And word been out, we talked about Jefferson last year. Like if you really want to slow Jefferson down, stop being so scared. Stop playing all these zones against him. You give any great wide receiver a bunch of free releases, they're gonna burn you constantly. That's why he was getting 300 yards on this, getting 250, 260. We was giving them a bunch of free releases. They decided to fight them boys last night and they didn't fight back. So if I'm a Vikings fan, I would be a little bit concerned about that because, like I said, you think you tough and you think you like to hit until you play us. And then after you play us, you find out, okay, you know what? We need to go back to the drawing board because this team that just swept everybody in our division, they tougher than us. It's hard to admit that another man is tougher than you. So whenever when coaches say that about their own players, we got beat up, we got out toughed. It's an insult to your manhood. And it just felt last night like we just kept throwing the jab out there, throwing the jab. It was 7-6 at halftime. We just kept sticking behind the jab, sticking behind the jab, and then we started going to the body a little bit, and we broke them boys down like we break everybody else down. It took a little while, you know. PFF didn't want to give us our credit. They turned around after the game and said it was more. But all right, this was it. I'm gonna stop getting into that because I think as Lions fans, we have a
Yeah.
habit of hanging on to what everybody else thinks of us, because it ticks us off. But
Yeah.
I was like I said, that was just me about Minnesota. But I think, like I said, overall, we started slow. Did Goff play his best game? No, he didn't. But he still made some throws. He made some major key throws actually down the stretch.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was it perfect? Did it feel ultimately like a 31-9 game overall? It didn't because it was 7-6 at halftime. But in the back end of the fight, we just broke them down and we got to 15-2 by hook or crook.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. And just what you said, man. I didn't realize that it would come down to like us being like more tougher than them. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize that it would really come down to it. I mean, sometimes I forget sometimes that we are tougher. You know what I mean? And they kind of remember Dan Campbell said at the end of the locker room, he said, we played like who the F we are. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we did. You know what I mean? It took, like you said, that the offense is like the one thing that I'm not worried about. I mean, even though they did fall, they was kind of slow out the gate. I thought the game plan with just Rad Gibbs was brilliant. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think that they were expecting that. Some people, it's a perception that, and I think Chris Collinsworth alluded to it during the game, like saying that Gibbs is razzle dazzle, that Chris Johnson type that's like, what I'm saying, will outrun everybody, but he ain't physical. He can't run through the tackle. No, 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 no. Jameer Gibbs can do that. You know what I mean? He kind of surprised me a little bit running up in there a couple times. And, we've seen it, but not so much. David Montgomery gets those yards and not Craig Reynolds has been getting those yards. Shout out to Craig. Craig been out there doing what needs to be done. Craig Reynolds is a consummate pro, man. Love him, man. Love what he brings to the team, man. But this is how I looked
He
at it.
deserved this moment too.
Yeah, yeah. I
He
mean, he
put in a
got it.
lot of work, a lot of hot summers.
Yep. And then you know what though, Craig got a couple first downs running.
Yep.
I think he played the
Patience.
David Montgomery role good, man. He got a couple key first downs to keep the chains moving. A couple times when we was kind of struggling. This is the way I look at it too. Walt. It was like we won the game. Obviously, Jameer Gibbs, superstar. Memorable performance. One that's going to go down. We're going to always remember this game that he had. 4 touchdowns. In this game, we always going to remember his performance. And I think that we did it with minimal. I won't say minimal help, but just like Laporta was spotty. Laporta caught a couple key passes as well in traffic. I thought he was good. St. Brown, he always brings it. Tim Patrick was quiet. Jameson Williams caught a couple. He seemed like he couldn't get his bearings about him last night. But what I'm saying is we kind of could get away with somebody having a big night and others don't some nights. And that's a sign of a good team, man. You know what I'm saying? Where it seemed like they didn't even break a sweat. Tim Patrick, it didn't even barely name got called. You see him out there blocking on the edge, sealing off that edge, being a decoy, going in motion, stuff like that. But
It's
he
a
didn't
good thing
really.
I didn't put him in the parlay.
Yeah.
They
So
they tempted me though. They tempted me heavy, man.
yeah, and I thought for everybody that want to laugh at Terry Arnold and say he sucks or whatever, I remember the minute it happened, I seen the message board going crazy. People I'm like, dude, y'all were the same people that saying Terry Arnold sucks. So why y'all so uptight about him getting hurt? That's how I feel. I mean, I don't think I don't think he sucks, but it's another narrative out there too. It's like, man, just sometimes we need to calm down. And because players ain't progressing like we think, it's like in big spots or big games, sometimes a game like this brings out. I remember Meek Robinson, remember he had like a pro football focused number or like against the Bills. It was like basically he was a worse player on defense. I remember like against the
Mm-hmm.
Bills. You know what I'm saying? And if we go by that, we saying Amik Robertson sucks, right? You know what I'm saying? But lo and behold, on the biggest stage, the biggest time when we need him to turn out a big performance, he ready for it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the difference with this team, because I think if somebody else don't bring it, or they got a lesser role, I think somebody else rises up, man. And I think that because I was looking at it, I said, okay, can we play this way against Philly and beat Philly the way we playing right now? Let me ask you a question. I asked the listeners too. I was looking at, do we have a guy that can handle AJ Brown, right? In those spots. And I was thinking like ding 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 ding. Belafonwu, just as big, can cover, can be physical at the line of scrimmage.
Man, I'm gonna say this. As much as I love AJ and Devontae, who the hell gonna throw them the football?
Right.
That's the question. Who gonna throw them boys the football? Even if they want to throw the ball, and I'm not trying to insult them like this, but it's gonna sound insulting. Y'all might be better off letting Tanner McKee throw the damn football if that's the case, man. Because they don't. What's really weird about this, you heard Jason Garrett say it last night. How are the Philadelphia Eagles still the best team in the NFC and they down to their third quarterback? Like now y'all super trying to disrespect us. Tanner McKee is the starting quarterback right now. Well, he played yesterday, but Pickett played about the previous week against Dallas and they won. But you talking about a team that already was struggling to throw the football all season. Now they're down to their backup and their third string played yesterday. And you have the nerve to get on Football Night in America and tell the entire world that the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the NFC. It's like it's so many backhanded, not even backhanded compliments, but it's so many situations where they outright disrespect us. and then they turn around after they're wrong and say it wasn't disrespect. Like how I took it with the whole Sam Darnold situation and all the love he was getting all week. He was getting a bunch of love from Lions fans. Like, are y'all really that terrified of this guy? Y'all that damn scared? Oh, Darnold's been great all season, and our defense has been bad, and he's gonna come here and do this, do that to us. And it's like they forgot all common logic that you seen 14, 15 really good games from this man damn near in his whole entire career. Didn't see that with the Jets. You didn't see it with Carolina. You didn't see it in Frisco. You saw a good season from him here. Not here, but him in Minnesota. And that was enough to pretty much push everybody in the direction of the Minnesota Vikings over Detroit. Because, typically in a game like this where you got two teams as evenly matched, at least as evenly matched as people thought they were prior to the game, in a 14-2 versus 14-2 game, who you going to get an edge to? Typically, whoever got the better quarterback. So for you to pick the Vikings over us, it meant that you felt Darnold was either better or you felt that Darnold was going to come here and he was going to do some shit that y'all never seen him do ever. And this is what people bet on. They hate to believe in us so much that they will go against all common sense betting wise just to hope we win. I mean, just to hope that we lose.
No, I heard today that Minnesota gonna win the next game we play.
No,
Like if it's the
oh no,
rematch,
no.
they're gonna win the third matchup. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I also heard the
no,
Rams gonna come here, and the Rams are due because
yeah,
they lost to us twice, and it's gonna be hard to do it again, and they're gonna set us straight.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Of
yeah.
course, yeah. Because I like you said, we was talking in pre-show. I think that us winning this game yesterday, that for me, that was like y'all can't beat us. That's how I felt, man. Because you know what I'm saying, y'all can't beat us. I thought, um, Justin, yeah, Joe, yeah, Joe. I feel you. I feel you. I had us winning by 3, so I really look stupid. But um, yeah, to sit there and have that game go the way it went, you know what I'm saying? It was like y'all Vikings can't beat the Lions, can't beat us. You know what I'm saying? That's how they put all that to bed. They put all the doubt. This team, like it's constructed, our team can't beat us. You know what I'm saying? Um, I also thought that the offensive line got their act together. You know what I'm saying? It almost seems like it was like now we did get away with one. I thought that the um golf, I thought that was a safety because I was talking to a friend of mine today. I didn't think it was. I remember the play when they had us backed up at the 2 yard line. They had some heat on golf. He turned, fired the ball to the ground. They called it like they said it was an eligible receiver. I think it was Brock Wright in the area. I thought they gave the line, which I'm not complaining about it, but I thought I was surprised that they didn't call a safety on that one. You know what I'm saying? I thought we dodged the bullet on that one, but then remember we got the ball, and then he wound up throwing an interception anyway to Harrison Smith. But that was kind of like a punt anyway. And then they got the ball and still didn't convert it. It was crazy how that game went, man. You just knew, with them goal line stances, like you said, it was like we were sustaining the body blows and the little jabs, and then it was like after you knew they wasn't going to hold us like to no points. You know what I'm saying? You just knew that once we got in the end zone once or twice, they wasn't going to be able to stop it. So, and then I overestimated Minnesota. I really did. I thought that Minnesota was going to be the more physical team. I really did on their defensive line, and they didn't, man. I don't know, like what's the guy played Harrison Phillips, I think is his name. He was okay. Jonathan Gennard, I think he made a couple plays at the beginning, but that was it, man. You know what I mean? That was it. It was just sort of like, Ivan Pace again. I was telling the Vikings fans that, and I think Corey, somebody even said, you don't hear no Vikings fans saying nothing, obviously, right now. But I was telling them he's the only guy I would want on our team is Ivan Pace. He's the only guy on their defense. I just think that our guys are better, when we're healthy. You know what I'm saying, as far as talent goes, but Yeah, I mean, man, to just have Jameer Gibbs to just I think there's a couple things that's noteworthy about this team, Walt, as we, look finish up the 2024 season stat wise. Jameer Gibbs finished fifth in the league in rushing, 1,412 yards, just a tremendous season. 20 touchdowns, quietly 20 touchdowns, led the league, all-purpose touchdowns. He finished fifth in rushing. It was 19 yards behind Jonathan Taylor for fourth. Bijan Robinson, who had a nice year, man. Bijan, he went off this year. He was only 44 yards behind Bijan for third, what I'm saying, in rushing. So props to Jameer Gibbs. I mean, the running back position is back, bro. You know what I'm saying? In a major way in the NFL. The whole saying, you don't pay running back. I think that's gone, man. If you got one like Gibbs. I mean, Gibbs is a unicorn. You know, uh, Bijan's a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan Taylor's kind of that in between guy, but those two guys right now are setting the bars high. You know what I'm saying? As far as what production wise to a running back, because it didn't seem like Jameer was on that kind of pace. You know what I'm saying? It was sharing carries, like you were saying in the pre-show.
Yeah.
He didn't start, getting a full load to what, week 13 or 14 or something like that, man. And he's been more than capable of doing, you
Dude
know,
had 8 first downs last night.
yeah. I remember I said he with the stick, he knows he's got a knack for the soft spot, just finding the sticks, man, and getting to it. You know what I'm saying? Because he'll run out of bounds too and make sure he gets that first down. That's what I like about him. He'll lower the shoulder if he have to, but why do that? And then just get the first down and get out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? He's great at doing that, especially in 2-minute drill, the end of halves, his awareness, his ableness to turn directions on a dime, to find a sweet spot in the defense. It's just, man, it's crazy how good he is right now. And I think, well, we got couple guys on our team that's like that. I think Jameson Williams, like I said, he didn't really, he didn't have to do much last night, but it's another guy. You mean to tell me when we play Philly or whoever, we didn't even go that far. We'll just say our next opponent. They got to account for Jameson Williams. Now, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Last year was sort of like, okay, we were still kind of filling out the process. Jameson Williams is a factor. Jameer Gibbs is a factor. You know what I'm saying? Sam Laporta. I mean, Tim Patrick. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Khalif Freeman is back in the picture. So to me, our offense didn't play great, and we still blew them boys out. You know what I'm saying? We still, got one sack in the game, pressure like blitzing like crazy, just running everything but the kitchen sink at these guys, and it was sort of like we did what we had to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically, I think everybody can agree that
Yeah.
week to week. Now, next week, I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna put it out there like this: the next game you might not be able to blitz and win like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think that we're good enough where we can change it up. You know what I'm saying? We could change our scheme mid game. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Glenn is that good where he'll say, you know what, this ain't working. We going with this. You know what I'm saying? And we going, if we may get burned a couple plays, we might give up a touchdown. But damn it, our offense will be able to make up the difference if we give up. They got our back. You know what I'm saying? Like if they when we give up 10 or 14, our offense make it up for it until we get our act together. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. You don't have to be great defensively for a whole game, especially in the play. You don't. You know what I mean? You don't. And I think that that's what people is kind of forgetting, that they so infatuated with. We got to be this Ray Lewis led Ravens defense that don't give up nothing but 3 points. It's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Offenses is too good these days to sit there and say, I'm only gonna give you this team 10 points or 17 points. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they they gave up 9, but they could have gave up last night if Darnold had his act together. They should have had 23. That type of thing. Our defense was stellar in the red zone, but
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
Yeah, in case he just exactly. Casey's right. And it, like I said, like let's just say if we tried to, that was just Casey right on point with me, and I would just imagine we tried to blitz Stafford like that. They gonna he gonna get us. Puka, Cooper Cup, them boys gonna get it. I ain't saying they gonna win the game, but they for damn sure score more than 9 points.
Uh,
You know what I mean?
we also could see a lot of the same against Stafford too, because it's not like they were just blitzing and not getting home. They were getting home last night, and
Yeah.
even on the times that they weren't getting home, they were putting that dome up and around the pocket. They were
Oh,
forcing Darnold to keep moving up. And
brilliant.
when
Yeah.
Darnold kept trying to force those throws down the middle of the field, they were forcing him to throw over guys in the front. So it was, like I said, it was a very, very solid game plan, I thought, overall. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask you guys about this because AG right now, he's a very, very hot name. Of course, when it comes down to potentially being the next head coach of three or four or five different teams we've heard rumored so far, but he's had a lot of great performances this year, man.
Hmm.
We talk about how they held their own in the Texan game.
Yep.
There were a few other games this season where the defense, even at the beginning, and you kind of called this before the season started about the offense kind of struggling out the gate. It seems like 3 years ago that we talked about that preseason. Remember that the preseason, how we talked about how Jared Goff looked and him not playing, and people made a big deal about him not playing and other guys not playing. And then the offense didn't look all that hot against the Rams week 1, and then week 2 they were 0 for 5 in the red zone against the Bucks, and wound up losing that game. And then they were kind of still slow in the Arizona game, remember? In week 3, people were already talking about, well, you know what, if he doesn't play well Monday night against Seattle, it may be time to sit him down. Like, that's how knee jerk these fans get. Honestly, that's how hard they get overall with these players, man. And if you look at what Darnold did last night, you talking about this guy here, AG, and we giving him all the flowers, all the props in the world for what he did for this defense last night. You hold a quarterback. It's hard to hold a quarterback in this day and age to 18 for 41. That looks bad because it is really bad. They held Darnold to 18 for 41. He was sacked twice. He was hurried all night. Didn't throw an interception. Also didn't throw a touchdown. It's going to be hard in this day and age in the NFL for you to win games with your quarterback not throwing any touchdowns, not accounting for any touchdowns whatsoever. But 3 for 13 on third down. Held them boys to 23% on third down. And then they were 0 for 3 on fourth down.
Did you say
I
three
knew
for
this.
13?
Yep.
3 for 13, just like his
3.
shirt, 313.
Yeah. So they start wearing them boys.
They held
But
them boys to
yeah.
313.
Yeah. Held them boys to 313 out here, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, we've been beating uh AG's drum for the last couple of years. I just gotta. I hate to say it. I just think this last couple games here, man. I think AG gonna be the guy that get a job, man. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a player's coach. I don't want to see him go. Trust me, I don't. I want this thing to stay together the longest it can. You know what I'm saying? But you got to believe. Our team was going to be a different landscape. And that's a show for another day. That's not the show. We're not talking about him leaving, but I'll just say this, Eric. I was really impressed. Really impressed. I mean, I couldn't believe how can you go to that level and to be successful? You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe that's a lot of excuse using, I guess, on my part. You know what I'm saying? To say, oh, well, we can't do this because we don't have this guy, or we can't do this because we don't have these guys. And you could tell, well, y'all can't do this because now everybody missing. Malcolm Rodriguez, Barnes, Hutchinson, Carlton Davis, you know
Robert
what I'm saying?
Porsche.
McNeil.
Everybody out. Jason Hanson.
Yeah, Tracy Scroggins, he out of there.
This man said Tracy Scroggins.
Yeah, Kyle
Jeff Harden.
Vandenbosch.
We said we missing everybody
Everybody,
out here.
Stephen Tulloch. We missing Glover Quinn in the back. Uh, you know what I'm saying? We missing
Mark
everybody.
Carrier,
Mark
everybody
Carrier.
missing.
Who was that? Ain't that Chase Lucas in the background in this caption? We missing him. You know what I'm saying? We missing everybody, bro. You know, uh, poor Kendall Vildor getting put out there. Where Will Harris at? Is Will Harris still in the league? We missing him too. You know what I mean? So yeah, but
This is a special
I mean,
team, man. I
Jerry
think
Vaughn,
it's something
Jerry,
that
Jerry Vaughn, Luther.
this is
Oh
hey,
man.
Luther had a decent career though. Luther
Hey,
had a pretty good career.
remember Mark Carrier? What Mark Carrier didn't he get suspended like 3 or 4 times during the season? Remember
For for
he
us
was
alone, yeah.
he was illegal hitting people. Mark Carey was a monster, dude. He was killing people out there illegally.
Just think about it. Back during that time, he was
Yeah.
drawing hits. I mean, he was drawing penalties. Like and they didn't even care back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah. And then what's my man name? What's the dude from Texas who never panned out? We took
Oh,
two at
Quandre Diggs? Not Quandre
nah
Diggs. You talking about
uh,
Bryant Westbrook?
Brian Westbrook. Brian yeah, Brian Westbrook, Terry Fair. Well, we had the list goes on and on, man, with horrible defensive players. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, man. Like you said, I get back to what you just said, Walt. We are a special group of guys, man. You know what I'm saying? From Antoine Randall with the receivers, Mark Brunell, coaching up Jared Goff, to Dan Campbell, stirring the drink, and it started a long time ago. And I think that all those locker room speeches, you hear Dan Campbell saying, uh, it, they did start this thing some years ago. You know what I'm saying? And they've been sentimental and held on to some guys. And like you said, I think that maybe this could be the year that we see some guys get let go. You know what I'm saying? And to make room for some other guys. You know what I'm saying? But it is building. It steps to it. There's levels to it, as they say. And I think that right now we're in a different stratosphere as an organization. I think the only thing right now eluding us is that ring, man. I really you got two you got a coach now, Dan Campbell Wall is 27-7. His last 2 years in the regular season, 2 playoff wins, 2 division titles now. You know what I'm saying? The icing on the cake for this team is to, make it to the Super Bowl, man. I mean that's really the only box they haven't checked yet. You know what I'm saying? And this is their window. You know what I mean? And I think we were so I'm not gonna say you because you've been even killed through this whole thing pretty much. I'll be the one that kind of go off the deep end sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I thought that the Montgomery injury was gonna be the nail in the coffin. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna sit here and try to act like what I mean, that I was like, oh yeah, everything is great in Lions Nation land, but I was worried. I ain't gonna lie, man. Not that I didn't think Gibbs was equipped to do it. That's not even the case. We know that he is. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that, and I knew that. But it just brought. I thought it would bring a different dynamic of how teams play us. You know what I'm saying? And it hasn't. That hasn't missed a beat. I mean. That part of it is more so surprising than anything because I thought that teams would defend us different, but and then that shows you, if Gibbs is getting the ball after about 10 carries, Minnesota knew it was coming, bro. After about 8 or 9, they like, damn, it's going to be a long night. It seemed like we going to be chasing Gibbs all night. You know what I'm saying? And they couldn't do it. You know what I mean? They couldn't, and nobody has really been able to stop him. It's just
We showed
he's
his toughness too.
yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
And then the one thing I think we can hang our hat on is every time Jared Goff has had like a game, and he didn't have a horrible game. I think it was 231, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. What I'm saying is, I think every time he's bounced back and every time he's had like maybe a subpar performance or not a great performance, he's had about 5 or 6 good ones after that. So right now, I think we're in a good space with golf, and I think playing at home for two. Think about this, everybody. Think about this if y'all haven't already. All we gotta do is win 2 games. We got 2 games on our home field to make it to the Super Bowl. Think about that. Just, I mean, forget. NFC Championship in front of that game, or forget divisional playoff. Just think of it like this, and it won't be so overwhelming if you just put it in perspective. Say, hey, this is just we got 2 games left at home to get to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I like our chances, man. I really do. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because if you
Well, we don't have to deal with any elements. We don't
no
have to go
element.
outside. If we make the Super Bowl and win it, we don't have to go outside anymore.
Hmm. Right, right. That's huge, man. It's huge for Jared Goff. It's huge for just how we play. I think we translate, we can play in the cold rain. It doesn't matter. But I just think that that's a hell of an advantage. Think about this: we get a bye, right? So we're not gonna play at least until the following
The
Saturday or
18th,
yeah,
either
the
the
Saturday,
18th or the 19th. Yeah,
Saturday or Sunday. Then you play 2 more games, and then if we make the Super Bowl, you get a week. It's a bye week before the Super Bowl, right? So basically, you're gonna be able to play 3 games in 5 weeks. That's advantage Lions right there to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that to get all the rest we need to just hit the reset button. You know what I'm saying? On just the season, just it takes a toll, man. Think about it, man. These guys have been playing since October, you know, with no bye week. You know what I mean? When we still stress that because it is important. It's not an excuse. It is what it is. You know, and I guarantee you next year the scheduling it won't be like that. I guarantee you they won't have a bye so early. I mean, they probably done already petitioned the league. Like, look, man, that's no team should have a bye that early. You know what I mean? Number
then they
one.
gave us our bye week 14.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. They gonna mess around, let us play all our games, and then get a bye.
week 8. How the hell we get a week 19 bye?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I want to put up a comment. Yeah, like A Dub's right. About the going forward. I think we were talking about that A Dub, like pre-show. I think Dan Campbell he baited Kevin O'Connell to play like that, and I think that
He cracked.
going forward on 4th down is our DNA. That's what we do. It's not nothing new to us to do it. It's part of who we are. It's part of the fabric of Detroit Lions. That's what we are. It's no pressure when we go up there on a 4th and 3. Like I think the Gibbs reception for a touchdown was what 4th and 2. I think you know what I mean to throw that ball in the middle of the defense to Gibbs 10 yards touchdown. Yeah, I totally agree, A-Dub. I think that they didn't. He did it twice and didn't get it twice. I mean that shows you right there the confidence in what we're doing at other teams. And I see the Broncos the last couple weeks have been like running trick plays in the red zone. I've been noticing they've been doing it lately. And yeah, it's
Ego
some
thing for Sean Payton.
yeah, yeah,
They learned that shit from me.
yeah, they learned it from me. I taught Dan Campbell everything he know. You know what I'm saying? But uh, yeah. So when it come down to it, I really do think that we could play our style. If excuse me, if the other team tries to play like us, just like they did, we already won, bro. If we already in your head, if we living in your mind rent free, as Royce the 5'9" say, we living in your head rent free, bro. It nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? You already done lost. So for me,
I
it's
thought it
like,
was silly. Like the very first time when he went for it,
yeah.
because I was sitting there with one of my best friends watching the game, and I'm like, even as a Lions fan, I'm like O'Connell should just kick the field goal.
Hmm.
Like just kick the field goal. Boom, turnover on downs. That was the first bad omen for him. And then we were sitting there rolling. We like, this dude really gonna go for it. There's no reason to go for it. Defensively, y'all playing pretty solid. We only got a 7-0 lead.
Yeah.
You done went for it and then ended up with nothing. And then turned the ball. Now, granted, we didn't do anything with it. But I think once a lot of that I think is mental as well. Because as a team, when you have that we went through it. Was it week 2 against Tampa Bay? When
Hmm.
you keep going to the red zone and you keep getting shut
Yeah.
out,
Yeah. I think it was
it's
6 times.
it becomes demoralizing.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And
Like
at
what
one
we got to
time they
do.
were what 0 for 6 in the red zone. No, they had 6 red zone. But at one point in time, they had 6 red zone possessions and had 6 points to show for it.
Yeah. It was 6. Yeah. It was 6
Yeah,
red zones. Yep. Yeah, it was crazy. And like you said, that's demoralizing. And then on top of that, I heard somebody reference this today. It was noteworthy to even say it. But okay, remember they got the field goal, made it 7-6, and then they kicked the ball out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? Gave us the ball at the 40. We ran one play, bro, and got like 25, 30 yards on the play and kicked the field goal, winning in the halftime. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was like the 3 points they got, they gave it right back. You know what I'm saying? So,
Man, I've heard some
um,
Vikings talk about this more today. We beat ourselves. There's no beating yourself in a 31-9 loss, bro.
mhm.
Like the numbers show that y'all played bad. Oh, if Darnold wouldn't have overthrew these 6 passes, we
Oh
would have
man,
had like I don't want to hear all that what if shit.
yeah, I know.
If we would have stuck with the run a little bit more, I don't want to hear that. Oh, you guys were jamming and doing jamming is legal.
Yeah,
Like
and
I hate hearing these soft teams do that.
and I
Soft teams get to crying about jamming. Dude,
right,
get tough, get physical.
right, right, and then out of all the teams that should have an excuse, we don't. You know what I'm saying? We ain't said, oh, we got Aiden Hutchinson out and Lee McNeil. You know, we got everybody out. We ain't saying that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't the Lions ain't the Dan Campbell ain't one time reference an injury that's gonna help us. You know what I'm saying? I mean that has hurted this team. You know, he hasn't said they said next man up. You know, this is your opportunity. This is why you here. You know what I mean? This is why, we're doing running these plays or running, like the like defensively. I mean, like you said, I mean, we to the point to where we only could play you only can play to the talent that you have. Okay, I think that's a strength. I think we all can still agree moving forward. I think that we can still know that the offense is the best chance for us to win it all. Right, the offense has got to be able to score 31 like they did. You know what I'm saying? 35,
we
and we didn't even play good, like
think,
offensively. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't want to downplay Jameer Gibb. I'm not saying that he didn't play. I'm just saying it wasn't aerial attack. We wasn't throwing
No,
80-yard bombs or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But we
it
still
was a
scored
lot of
30.
body shots.
Yeah, still scored 31 on them boys. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like if Minnesota come in here again, Rams come in here, Eagles come in here, they put up 35, we putting up 45. That's how I feel. I feel whatever the team is doing that we're against, we're gonna do whatever we have to do to, you know what I'm saying, to get it done.
I
That,
think
that that's how I
typically though,
feel.
it doesn't happen the way fans usually think it happens. You know,
No,
we've seen, like I said, I bring up that Colts team that went on to beat the Bears in the Super Bowl. I forget what year was it? Was that 2012? Uh, was it 2012?
when Drew, you talking about Drew Brees when they beat the Colts, right?
No, when the Colts beat the Bears.
Oh, beat the Bears. I thought it was twenty
Well,
fifteen, if I'm
somebody
not
knows in the
mistaken.
comment section. Somebody knows, but
You know.
that defense was kind of middle of the pack. They had their issues all season.
Hmm.
Everybody had their minds made up heading into the playoffs that Peyton and the offense was going to have to score 40 a game, and because the defense was so terrible. And what
Hmm.
happened in that playoff run? Peyton played his normal playoff terrible self, and then the defense stepped up, rose to the occasion, and kind of carried them in all of those games
Yeah.
heading into the Super Bowl. And he didn't even play all that great in the Super Bowl. We being honest about it. They gave him the MVP because he was the quarterback. It was his first Super Bowl, and he had that late touchdown, I believe, to Reggie Wayne that kind of sealed things for him. But as fans, we got to remember too, because everybody that follows us, subscribes us, listens to us, these are logical, rational people. These games rarely turn out the way you think they're going to turn out. Everybody thought this game was going to be 48-40. I thought it was going to be 34-31. No, these defense coordinators, they get paid too. These defensive coaches get paid too. And typically these playoff games aren't high scoring games. How often do you see a 41-40 game in the playoffs? You don't see that happen that often. Coaches coach tighter. You get smaller possessions. You get shorter possessions. Like I said, more teams want to incorporate the running game more. These coaches coach the game way more wide open during the regular season than they do at home. If you look at us offensively last night, we ended up scoring 31 points, but that wasn't honestly the most offensively open game that we've seen Ben Johnson call all season. Things are different in close games, tight games. Games like that last night. It wasn't a playoff game, but it had the feel of a game 7 last night to it. So I think for fans, we just got to realize we don't have it all figured out. You don't. For all we know, man, the offense could struggle this whole playoff run, and the defense could rise to the
That
occasion.
that's right. That's right. And that's the thing, Um, I tell everybody, playoffs is week to week, man. That's how we got to approach it. You know what I'm saying? Just because we give up 9, or just because, like you said, we scored 31, we might only need 20 to win the playoff game next week. You know what I'm saying? It might be good enough. You know what I'm saying? Because our defense still playing well. That type of thing. Um, yeah, I mean, I feel confident, like knowing that our defense can cause some pressure, because I kind of did want to see it for my psyche. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, and then I think somebody did bring up Anzalone, how much he does mean to this team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's another thing I took for granted. I did. I mean, I know Anzalone's a good player. You know what I'm saying? We know Anzalone is perfect for the scheme. He's like a extension of the coaching staff on the field. But he a little bit more. I mean, he a little bit more than that. He like player coach, bro. He like out there, just he had Hawkinson just ready to quit. You know what I mean? Hawkinson was he
Him
want no
too.
part. He didn't
And
want
I
no
and I
part
meant to
of it.
bring him up too. Like he's another one. And we had him here. Like TJ Hawkinson is not the most physical tight end out there.
Dude, he
So
has
it's
2
like
catches.
that's a very soft finesse offense that got pushed around. Who did this remind you of? Remember, and I hate constantly bringing this up. Well, I don't constantly bring it up, but we hear it on social media so much around here. The '04 Pistons, or even the going to the bad boy Pistons. Those softer finesse teams hated playing against the Pistons. Y'all hit too much. Y'all too physical. Stop touching me. Let me dribble. Let me do what I want to do. Give me space. Soft players want space. Soft players hate being touched. And I go back to what I was saying early in the show for people who just tuned in and didn't hear what we were talking about earlier as far as Minnesota, man. Minnesota, as great as Justin, as great as Jordan, as great as Jalen Naylor, all three of those dudes are, they some small ass dudes that don't like to be touched. And what do? We touched them all night. Pause. But we got physical with them the entire game for 60 minutes. And we talked about, if you talk about just talent, Justin Jefferson is a better talent than any of our corners. And that's with all of our starters out there.
Mhm.
Jordan Addison, you can argue if he's better. That's something else I noticed too, and we talked about this earlier. That's I know AG. We think like coaches, we think like coordinators. We said during the Minnesota game, prior to the week 7 Minnesota game, that if you want to see the better version of Terry Arnold, put him on Jordan Addison.
Mhm.
Because Jordan Addison isn't really a blazer like that. He's more of a shiftier guy. He
Yeah.
can match quickness. He can match short area quickness with Jordan Addison for most of the game. And that's what he did. That's what they put him on. It all makes sense as fans if you sit back, if you're interested in that part of football, if you sit back and you start breaking things down and looking at matchups.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dare put him on Justin Jefferson. They put a more physical corner on Justin Jefferson. And then they put him, Terrion Arnold, he was more of a quicker, not fast guy, but more of a quicker technique type of guy, short area guy. They put him on Addison, and he was able to erase Addison. He played a pretty good game last night because you didn't put him on a freak athlete.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
put him on a guy who he matches up better with. He's short. He's him and Jordan Addison are pretty much around the same height, same weight, damn near quickness. So it all made perfect sense. But they just didn't look physical. They didn't look physical running the football. We were stronger. We were better than them off the line of scrimmage all night. We looked more physical than them at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football all night. And as
Yeah,
Eric Russell brought up earlier in the comment section, what they
yeah.
do?
Shout out to E.
They
Yeah,
they went to the media crying.
yeah,
You the one out there with what $100,000 worth of jewelry on, and you out there crying about being touched.
yeah,
Like it's a bad look, bro. It's a bad look.
yeah.
He lucky Akeem Talib wasn't out there playing for us.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah. That don't surprise me. Them crying like that. That don't surprise me.
no,
You
it
know
don't
what
it
I'm saying?
don't at
Because
all because them type of like I said, Chase wouldn't have cried. Jamar
yeah.
Chase is bigger, stronger. Chase would have found a way to get open.
Mhm.
Chase
Yeah.
wouldn't have got collared up all damn night. Every time they showed it,
Mm.
it was this all night.
Yeah, 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 your boy.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
And and
yeah.
I
The
and I like Jordan Jefferson. Jordan Jefferson. I think
George
just
George Jefferson.
I like George Jefferson too. I like Jefferson cleaners too, man. They take care of my suits really nice.
Like Jefferson.
Jefferson and Alta Road. It don't matter. We'll meet y'all and play y'all wherever. But no,
Uh,
man, it's I like Justin Jefferson, man. But I've been talking about Justin Jefferson for the last couple years, like, and I said the same thing about Odell Beckham Jr., who also went to LSU.
yeah,
If you give Justin Jefferson, Odell Beckham Jr. free releases all day, they gonna kill you.
yeah,
130, 140, 150, 200.
yeah,
I watched a Monday night game when Odell Beckham Jr. was still with the Giants, man. They played the Minnesota Vikings one night, Monday night game. And this was back when the Minnesota Vikings still had Xavier Rhodes, man. Xavier Rhodes beat that boy ass so bad all night. And but I mean, I get it. Xavier Rhodes was a big corner. Xavier was 6'2", 218,
hmm,
and could run and could scratch his knees standing up.
yeah,
And he just all night just bullied Odell Beckham Jr. all night. And that's what it reminded me of last night.
hmm, yeah,
So I mean it's get more physical, bro. I mean, I get it. Corners, I mean, wide receivers today don't like to be touched. Most of them don't like to be touched, especially the ones like him.
yeah,
But I see Devontae Smith dog his way through it. I done seen Devontae Smith over there in Philly, and he's skinnier than Justin. I done
yeah,
seen Devontae Smith battle with dudes in man press. So the
yeah,
thing is it's either in you or it's not. The problem is them three boys in Minnesota, they used to being schemed open. They used to everybody playing zone against them, and they used to everybody just letting them run free off the damn line of scrimmage. We
yeah.
wasn't doing it.
See, that's what I was. That's the picture I was. That picture is always painted like with our defense, like
But this
having
picture,
yeah, having guys run free.
him snatching off Crabtree chain.
Yeah, because yeah, but you know, just what you said, man. As far as like, how can I put this? Like this generation, like they soft, man. The generation, the the football play, like you mentioned uh Talib Talib
Akeem Talib.
Akib Talib, excuse me, cut from a different cloth, man. You know what I'm saying? These guys nowadays ain't built like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so
He even said he wanted to be a Lion.
yeah,
He said he loved to play for Dan Campbell.
you know,
I
he like
bet.
right. You like to come back and play, but yeah, and everything, and like you brought something to my attention. I like that you did about Chris Long, and I think he said that the Lions give everybody a hangover when you play the Lions. It was real. I think the streak was real. I think it was nine straight. Our last nine teams that we had beat, they lost the previous week, right? And I think the only team, I think Tampa was not Tampa. Somebody, I think it was
Buffalo.
Tennessee. It was Tennessee. It was
Oh yeah.
Tennessee that we had beat, and then the following week Tennessee won, if I'm not mistaken. They
No,
had
it was
broke that streak.
Buffalo. Because remember, Buffalo beat New England. They barely beat New England the next week after they beat us.
After they beat,
But
okay,
then they turn around, you see, and they lost New England yesterday.
yeah. So what I'm saying is we up for the challenge, man. And while we just put a bow on this show tonight, but overall, I was surprised. I was like taken off guard because I wasn't expecting the defense. I know if I was taken off guard and I'm sitting at home in my basement watching it on a big screen, I was taken back. I mean, like I didn't think that we had a performance like that. I thought we would win, but not the way we did. That okay? I just say it simply like that. I didn't think we would beat that team the way we beat them. You know what I'm saying? I was shocked. So moving forward, so the Lions get the number one seed. Gonna play the lowest. We playing the lowest remaining seeds the rest of the way. So whoever wins, just real quick, Walt. Washington's playing at Tampa. Washington got the sixth seed, and the Bucks coming in, the number three seed, winners of the NFC South. Then you got the Green Bay Packers with the seventh seed playing the Philadelphia Eagles, which is the two seed. Philly is the winners of the NFC East. And then you got the Rams and the Vikings, obviously, and the Rams won the NFC West. So what I'm saying to you is the path to like the Lions. Let's just say Washington wins. That's a dumb question because I think if Washington beat Tampa at the sixth seed, we'll just say they would
Yeah.
be the lowest seed and they would play the line. I'm not worried, but I think the Lions would they would smash Washington. I think once they
Yeah,
play,
I
I think
think we're a little too physical for Washington.
yeah
I
they're
think
not
we're a
ready.
little too physical for Jaden Daniels too, and they like to run Jaden a lot.
I like Jaden Daniels, but I don't
Yeah.
think he ain't ready for that smoke that would happen with that. And I like Scary Terry McLaren. Oh man, you talk about hands, you talk about route running, dude.
Another Buckeye.
Yeah, Terry McLaren, he that guy, man. I like him.
That's the
Um,
only thing that scares me about them is the fact that we know not a damn thing, and we know that they quarterback can run and throw. I
mhm,
mean, I still think we I think we cracked that safe, like we cracked every other safe this season for the most part.
yeah,
But that's the only thing that kind of scares me about them more than Philadelphia is the fact that we honestly don't know what to really expect from them. We know that Jaden Daniels is going to run the football about a good 11, 12 times. We know that he's going to push the ball downfield. They're going to let him do what he do.
yeah.
And we know Dan Quinn's defense is going to be what Dan Quinn's defense is. So that could be something that could give us some issues a little bit. But like I said, ultimately, I think we still crack that safe. I don't think we lose to Philadelphia. I don't care if Hurts starting, McNabb, Randall Cunningham,
Ron Jaworski,
Rodney Pete,
Ron
Kevin
Jaworski,
Cobb. I don't, I don't care who the hell they started at quarterback. They not
Kevin
beating
Cobb.
us. It's a wrap for them boys. But I thought we was gonna end up blowing Philly out anyway.
Yeah,
Because the problem with Philly is Philly
uh,
can run the hell out the football, but what if we jump up on Philly early? That
yeah.
kind of negates the Russian attack right there. And now now Philly in the situation where they kind of handcuffed. Um, I don't
What
think there's anybody in the NFC we lose to. I still think we go to the Super Bowl. I just don't see anybody in our conference that really scares me like that. I'm not worried about playing Minnesota for a third time.
or Green Bay? I
We
don't think
got
Green Bay gonna
right.
beat Philly though. I think Philly gonna smash Green
Yeah,
Bay.
I think it's
Mm,
they in a situation. Love may not play. Although it's the Super Bowl. It's the playoffs.
yeah,
So in most cases, as a quarterback, if you can play, you play. But
I
I'm
think
not worried about it. I think we done downloaded two games worth of information on Minnesota this season. We know what to expect. I'm not worried about them and Darnold. Green Bay missing the quarterback. Shit,
mhm,
Willis ended up hurting his hand in that
yeah,
game, so they got their own issues. The
yeah,
Eagle, but all of these are gonna be excuses too, because if the Lions make the Super Bowl, Darnold wasn't really shit. Oh, well, y'all played Green Bay without Jordan Love, even though y'all disciplined them with Jordan Love twice.
yeah,
Oh, well, The Philadelphia Eagles didn't have Jalen Hurts. So you guys skits by on that. And oh well, you played Washington in the second round and you played a rookie quarterback. It's
Yeah.
gonna be it's gonna be every excuse in the book. Don't let us get to the Super Bowl and play Carson Wentz in Kansas City.
See,
Oh, they gonna
more.
really they gonna literally put a big ass asterisk next to the Detroit Lions in the record books.
Yeah. And I think, we prepared, man, for any big game, I think, that comes with it. Um, yeah, just what you said, uh, I was just thinking about the playoffs as a whole and our next opponent, and realistically, I think what's gonna happen is I think it's gonna be the Rams. Yeah, because if I think
I agree.
Tampa's gonna beat Washington.
I agree.
I think Philly's gonna beat Green Bay, and
I
then
agree.
yeah, so Minnesota 4-5. Yeah, so that would mean the lowest seed would be the Rams next round, and they would come back to Ford Field. Yeah, so I'm looking for another Rams Lions matchup, in divisional round, and then I think if Philly played Tampa, that would be a hell of a game right there because Tampa been growing on me since the middle of the season. Baker Mayfield. I don't know. Let me ask you a question. You think Tampa beat Philly? You think if
Yeah.
it came down to it? I do too. I think
If
that
I'm predicting it right now, I say Detroit plays Tampa in the NFC Championship.
championship game. I can see that. I can see that now. I remember I was saying it might be Minnesota, but nah, I don't think so now.
Not given who they got to play next. It's
Yeah,
weird how this, and it's funny. Casey said that it's weird how this season turned out because Minnesota lost to us in Week 7, and they turned around the very next week and had to go play at the Rams,
yeah,
and the Rams beat them, and we
yeah,
kind of like exposed what needed to be done to beat Minnesota. So I
yeah.
think yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Walt. I was just saying
No, you
Mike
good.
Florio did the same thing. He said the same thing. I'm glad Casey brought that up because he did say that the Lions beat Minnesota. Then the following week, it was a Thursday night game. They lost to the Rams. Ironically, we just beat them last night, and then now they got to go to the Rams and play again. You know what I'm saying? They could lose to the same team, the same two teams in a 2 week span twice in the season. That's crazy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
So
historical. What do you think about this? Because Casey brought up a good question. Green Bay is weird.
yeah,
I know they are young, but they have a lot of talent. Why are they falling apart and back end of the playoffs? Is it coaching? I don't think LaFleur is that great of a coach. Um, he did inherit Aaron Rodgers towards the back end of his prime.
yeah,
Rodgers was still balling. Rodgers those last 2 years in Green Bay under LaFleur,
yeah,
dude put up MVP caliber numbers. If I'm not mistaken, he won MVP both of those years. A lot of people talk about his streak of winning 12 games, which came to end this year. They won 11 games this year. Back then, got swept in the division, which is something you never want to do. Then
yeah.
you turn around and you have an awful loss to the Bears the last week of the season. I'm not sure if it's necessarily LaFleur. I think it's Jordan Love, honestly. Good player, really talented quarterback. I've been the main one here in Detroit, probably beating the drum for him and how good I think he can be. But he's wildly inconsistent, like especially early on in games. And watching that Bears game yesterday, he attempts some throws, man. That it's why in the hell? Like, I understand you got the cannon, you got the arm to do it, but was that even necessary? Like, he leaves a lot of interceptions on the board too with teams. So I think they kind of go his way. He doesn't
Mhm.
seem to be as under control as you would expect a dude who's in what? Because he sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years.
Something like that. Two
Because
seasons.
this was his first 2 full seasons as a starter, and I think he's set for 3 years. So he doesn't play as composed as you would think he would, or as you think he should, man. I think LaFleur, yeah, he's fallen to third in this division. And depending on who the Bears hire at head coach, he
Uh-huh.
might fall behind him. But no, he's kind of getting exposed too as a coach.
Uh-huh.
I think so. I think it's more Jordan Love though, because Jordan been mad inconsistent, especially in the first half of games.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I think. Well, I'm on the side. I think LaFleur is a good coach. I really do. I think that they have won what double digit wins ever since he's been there. I don't think they've had less than 10 wins since he's been the coach, if I'm not mistaken. They are inconsistent because they're young. I do. I'm a lockstep with you with Jordan Love. You know how I feel about Love, but man, he way too inconsistent, too erratic, man. You know what I'm saying right now. And I think that part will settle down. Now, how patient they're gonna be in this process, because listen, it's about results, man. This whole
They gave that
NFL,
man a lot of money.
yep, it's results, and you can't be saying we're gonna wait, we're gonna be patient, and get knocked out of first round and not winning the division, man, year in and year out. That's not gonna fly. You know what I'm saying? And being paid like a top notch quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I do. If the answer Casey's question, which was a good one, I would say absolutely. It would be, to me, it would be just a young team, and I think that the coaching will come around to like you said. Well, excuse me. It did this division, like you said, has turned out to be. This gonna be this is absolutely the best division in football. Number one, the NFC North, and you can't have another Eberflus type that don't know what the hell he doing, man. That's coming in. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, you got Campbell, won the division 2 years. LaFleur's got a couple division titles. You know what I'm saying, under his belt. You got O'Connell, and then So what I'm saying is, you're gonna have to have elite coaching to to stand firm in in this division, man. I mean, it's the bar been set. The Lions done set that bar to me. So
I agree with this too. I think
yeah,
it's he does lack judgment. It's just going throughout the whole season, man. It's like you like a younger version of Josh Allen. Like the splash plays are really splash. And then the bad plays are really head scratching, man.
yeah,
And we talked about earlier the season because despite the fact that our team won 15 games, we still do discuss the Packers, Vikings, and Bears a decent amount on this channel. And we
hmm
discussed what we both thought the Vikings, not the Vikings, but the Packers probably should be offensively. But the problem is this: when you have a talented quarterback with a big arm, there's a really good chance you're never going to be a run first team behind Jacobs, and they improve a little bit as far as the tackles and the guards on that offensive line. They should be a run first team. The problem is they have a bright, shiny toy with a big arm, and they want him to just be the reason they win so much, and they want to just throw the football so damn much. And just judge, and I agree with Mike Barker on this, just judging off of his judgment, just judging off his judgment the last
hmm
2 years as a starter. I don't know if he's a quarterback I can trust to throw the ball 35 times a game
hmm
because he does lack judgment. He doesn't recognize a bad throw. I think that's the
hmm
best way to put it. He feels like just because I got the arm, I can still do
you
it.
can get it there.
He
Yeah,
doesn't recognize a bad throw when he sees one.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? As far as and I think every young quarterback that's got the talent, God given talent, they all feel they can make that throw though. You know what I'm saying? That one throw. Like that one Baker Mayfield throw. I know you seen it to Jalen McMillan. That was phenomenal, man. You know what I'm saying? And a tight
Yeah.
dude. He put that bad boy 40 yards on a rope, dude, right in the corner pylon. You know what I'm saying? Every quarterback think they can make the throws, but like you said, you gotta. It's a fine line. Like I said, it's easy for me to say. I'm sitting here holding a microphone, evaluate talent, evaluator. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call it, but when you in the moment, I think you do have to tone it down. I think that's the good thing about what Jared Goff has overcome. I mean, I'll in my debate on this thing, with Goff tonight. I think that Goff has learned, man. Second in the league in passing, Walt. 4,600 yards for Jared Goff. He's tremendous. I remember we had our show for expectations at the beginning of this season, man. And I don't think none of us had 4,000 yards. I didn't. I think I might have had 3,500 yards. I've said maybe been a successful season. He had 36 touchdowns, 12 picks. I mean, he was phenomenal, man. Just on the numbers, guy that you could put and say, hey, he's part of the elite quarterback class, of this season. So, to end this regular season talk, about this team, because we're gonna be in the playoff mode, we're gonna be in the draft mode here coming up, in the months to come. But Jared Goff, listen, for everybody that said that we couldn't win with him, or he's not the guy that you can win, you absolutely can win with Jared Goff. I mean, yeah, he was shaky yesterday. I had somebody complaining to me about it today, saying that he didn't look like himself, you know what I'm saying, or he didn't look like a quarterback that was in command of the offense. It's just like,
Oh, really?
you know what I mean? Right.
Now he
It's
didn't have command of the damn offense.
yeah.
Like,
And it's like,
okay.
just just wait. You know what I'm saying? Because he every time. I mean, that's one thing he's done it the last 2 years. If he had like a subpar, quote unquote subpar performance, he's backed it up and he's played well the next 5 or 6 games. And this is right the window where we need him to be elite right now. You know what I'm saying? We are telling you, we need 3 games. We need 3 games out of them. We need 3 games out of this offense to be elite. Because then I don't care who you put in front of us. If our offense is clicking, if our offense just do whatever they want like they've been doing, well, we gonna be hard to beat, man. Especially at home. I just
Yeah. I
that's the
think
equal.
too.
You
Yeah.
know. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
I
off.
just think that as many injuries as we have had, this is something else fans need to take into account.
Hmm.
Go through that roster and think about how many players we have on our roster that right now are considered top 5 at their position. Penei Sewell is a top 5 right tackle. He's a top 5 overall tackle in football, period.
Hmm.
Jahmyr Gibbs right now, at the age he's at,
Yeah.
he's a
Oh yeah.
top 5 running back in his league without question.
Yeah.
St. Brown, whether there's guys you like from a physical talent standpoint better than him, if you're talking about production, you're talking about a guy that hasn't dropped a single pass all season, you're talking about the touchdowns, you're talking about the yards, the consistency, he's top 5 at his position. I don't care about the super freaky athlete wide receivers that people want to put ahead of him all the time, who don't get double digit touchdowns, who don't get 1,200 yards, who not in the playoffs, because there's a lot of them in the league that we get so enamored with the physical traits that we put them ahead of players who are obviously better wide receivers because this guy's taller and he runs a faster 40 and he can jump high and make me say, ooh, wee. I was a guy that looked at St. Brown as, you know what? Uh, yeah, I like him. He's really good, but this guy over here is more explosive. This guy over here is this. This guy over here is that. St. Brown is top 5 at his position. Sewell's top 5 at his position.
Yeah.
Jared Goff is top 5 at his position. There's no more arguing that, man. He is right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Branch, top 5 strong safety in
For sure.
football.
Pro
Kirby
Bowler.
Joseph, top 5 free safety in football.
Hmm.
Heading into next season is, well, of course, Aiden Hutchinson, top 5 edge rusher in football.
I think Jack Campbell. You can put him in that prop.
Yeah,
You can
moving in, yeah,
put
into
him right
next
in.
season. I think he will. I think he's on crack. I'll say this. I'll let him take baby steps. I think next season he'll be a top 5 linebacker in football,
Hmm. Yeah. Oh
top
yeah.
10 or top 10. So yeah, we missing a lot of people, but we still got a lot of game changers. Also, that's still out there on the field, man. So, man, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. Well, I gotta thank you for you with me all the time, though.
Yeah. That's right. That's
You
right.
know, but I'm glad, man. Lions fans, y'all get to see this, get to experience this. Me and this man was talking about this earlier. We thought we'd never experience this in life. And that's sad over a football team.
Oh man.
But
And
we
it's
never
like
thought we'd get to experience this, man. Like,
dominant.
if
And it's not like I'll just end my thing with this while I'll let you finish it off tonight. I never thought that they'd be dominant like they are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even shorthanded, wouldn't it be something to win this thing, man, without, you know, without just I'm not saying without Hutch like that, but what I'm saying is with the injuries we have, I'll say it like that. And we hoist that trophy, bro. That's like not a pipe dream. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's sort of like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like we St. Bonaventure trying to win the NCAA championship. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like we William and Mary,
Long
or-
Beach State.
yeah, Coastal Carolina trying to win the NCAA championship. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, we Butler. playing Duke. You know what I'm saying? But we the Lions, bro. You know what I'm saying? And yes, we missing our guys, but damn it, we can still win this thing, man. It seems like, and that was the only thing for me. I was just looking at the big picture, and maybe we don't win the Super Bowl, that type of thing. You know what I mean? Because if you look at Derek Barnes, Hutch, Elaine McNeil, those are guys. I mean, talking about Carlton Davis. I'm just talking about those three guys. Who was like a main, uh, the main cogs of our team. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I just ended with that. I just never thought I would see the day where we're so dominant. You know what I'm saying? We beat people over the head, pile drive, DDT, leg drop,
Here they go.
suplex off the top rope, Stone Cold Steve Austin coming, with stunner. It just they all of those things, man. This team is all of those things. You know what I'm saying? So
Definitely, definitely.
yeah,
So we're gonna come back tomorrow night, man.
yeah, yeah. We probably do a late show tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, we could do that, and then maybe we can go over to AFC. I think AFC is noteworthy to kind of see what's going on, just the playoff matchups in whole. Talk about some players that maybe stood out this season. My man Joe Burrow. I got a lot to say about Joe Burrow and the Bengals, man. Joe Burrow is one of my top quarterbacks. It's a shame they didn't make the playoffs. I think Zach Taylor should be fired. That's number one.
Damn.
That's a guy he I don't want to come after nobody's job because I won't want nobody come after me like that. But I got my reasons. I'll just we get into it the next show. We just talk about the playoffs if you want to.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Also, at some point in time later on in the week, nice video for you guys after a historical, well, at least historical for him. Actually, historical overall. If you look back at that video we did right when we drafted him, whether or not he could
Oh,
break the running back curse, he broke
you called that.
it.
You called
he
that back, man. You called it.
he
You did.
broke it. But yeah,
I
we're
think
gonna
you
go back.
said you didn't say first round pick. I think you said second round maybe get Jameer Gibbs. I remember that was vaguely that's what you
Well,
said. I remember.
I had him with that. I had them if he was there with that second pick in the first round. I
Yeah.
didn't think that they would trade all the way up though, in
Yeah.
front of Dallas. Because we never know why they end up trading up. But yeah, they traded up to get him. But I did think either him or Bijan would have been a decent pick if they would have failed that far. But neither dude fell that far.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know. But yeah, we're gonna do a video later on in the week, getting into the actual scouting report I wrote on Jameer Gibbs 2 years ago,
Yeah.
how things apply and what he actually developed. How did he develop from the University of Georgia Tech,
Yeah.
heading over to Alabama, and now heading into year 3 of his career with us, the Detroit Lions. So I want to thank everybody for joining us all season. 18 weeks seemed like a major marathon for everybody, but our team got to 15-2. For everybody out there that had this team winning 15 games, y'all was right. I thought it was silly. I thought 12 wins was the ceiling for them.
Yeah.
But they turned out to be a damn near imperial team all season with all the injuries they went through. And now we got this bye week we've been saying we needed all year. And now we get to kick back, relax, get some people healthy, and get prepared for whoever the hell we will be playing in the divisional round. So, till next time, one pride.